making atonement, and he shall be forgiven. When the atonement of the offender's grave sin against God and his fellow man is secured, first of all, by confession. First of all, confession. Second of all, full restitution and payment of the fine. I can remember, I've done this. I had a person I was angry at. She had gone to the Holy Land twice. Somebody paid her way the first time. Second time, she went. I found out after we got back, she borrowed the money from the travel agency. They never told me. She never told me. This was a very, very serious situation. So I was very angry. I was so angry that I had to make restitution. Not something she knew about, but something I knew about. I knew the level of my anger, therefore, the restitution was for me to pay for half of her trip. I don't think we think in terms of restitution. Restitution might be, let's suppose you were supposed to clean house last week and you didn't. So you said to your mom or your friend, I will do the next 3 weeks to make restitution for what I did not do last week. Do you think we think this way? Have we lost that sense? We know that in prison and in the courts, certain restitutions are required, but we're before the court of God. And how will that work? And then by the sprinkling of blood and the performance of all rites of the guilt offering, the stain of the sin was washed away, and the offender felt relieved of the burden of his transgression. Man, having cleansed himself, is thereupon completely purified by God's loving forgiveness, which turns the gravest sinner, if repentant, into a new man, free from all of the transgressions of the past, at peace with man, at peace with his Father who is in heaven. Here it is. The forgiveness of sin, the blood of the priest. The priest offers the blood offering. Jesus offered the blood offering. Now, what I see in Christianity is we say that we're forgiven, but on a day-to-day operation, we get a little sloppy with it, don't you think? On a day-to-day, we get into this kind of sloppiness about it. And how we would do it, and whether it's real, and whether it's permanent. If I forgive, will I forgive permanently? Jesus forgave permanently. Will we forgive temporarily, or will we forgive permanently? That's a very powerful question. If you permanently forgive someone, you permanently make peace. If you look at a husband and wife, they're like the Arabs and the Jews. They're always bargaining for position. Is there a permanent peace? Is there something permanent in that peace? If you pass the peace, the shalom, are you giving it just today, I give you my peace, or I give you my peace forever? Jesus brought into the concept of this world eternal. For the first time in the history of the world, man could enter into eternal time. Never could have done, never taught before, never suspected before. Jesus said, you may enter into my Father's kingdom. You may come. The door is open. You may go through it. Eternal. Now, most of us like to hang on to the cases. We're like the lawyer. We have a list, we have a caseload. I remember it took me a year or two to forgive my mother when I got around to it, and then it took quite a long time to forgive somebody else, and that gets to be your caseload. Does that make sense? And we get stuck on our caseload. because we do not understand the power of forgiveness. As I was writing the children's books, the Lord spoke to me. And he said, this world is not comprehending the power of forgiveness. We are stuck in a human understanding of the word forgiveness. And this is what he said to me. I did not give forgiveness by the resurrection. The resurrection has nothing to do with forgiveness. I gave it by my blood, and when it was fully shed, the instant it was shed, the tombs opened, the temple curtain parted too, forgiveness was forever, no high priest needed to go back there anymore, there needed to be no atonement for the people, and the earth turned dark.
What was that, Betty?
The earth turned dark. That is power. He said that's the power of forgiveness. So let's suppose, how do we do it? Well, yeah, I forgive you. Just don't do it again. Here's a nice little hug. I don't mean it, but here's a nice little hug. You see what I'm saying? We're stuck in this little game. I forgive him, I don't forgive him. I forgive him, I don't forgive him. I might forgive him, I don't know when I'm going to forgive him. Maybe I'll forgive him 3 days from now. Maybe I'll never forgive him. And it's like cards we're playing. Study how many cards you've got in your hand. Those are the cases that are still pending. But this unleashing of the power of forgiveness would turn this world upside down. If the Christians really knew that this is a power, not just an act of mercy. I gave you the power to forgive. Not, please go forgive. It's not a little pat. It's not even your conscience. It is your life. The history of the world depends on the life that we live.
Yes.